Peace. Peace and love, good people. Salute. Salute. Salute to everyone. Just making sure I'm all good. I think I'm all good on my end, you guys. Salute to everybody. Salute. I hope everybody is doing well, right? Wonderful to be back in the building for some good old boxing talk. We have some interesting things to discuss today, good people. I hope that I'm finding you all well. Hopefully, you guys had, a good week that just passed. Hopefully, everybody is in good spirits and in one piece on this fine Sunday evening. Let me check in with the good people to see where we are at. Give my salutations. You guys know I like to start it off right, set the mood off, kick the energy off right by saluting the good family and sending some blessings to you all. Let's see who we got in the building so far, right? As you guys are making your way in. Apologies for the little delay today. I'm coming on at 6 instead of like 5:30, 5:45-ish. I just needed a little bit more time to get situated, but I'm here, you guys, right? And we're going to do this thing. So let's see who is in the building this evening. We got the King Insane himself in the building. Salute to the King Insane. He says, California love in New York. You already know what it is. Say less, King. Nothing else needs to be stated when the King Insane is in the building. That's our little personal salutation to each other. California love in New York. Yes, indeed, King. Blessings to you. Wonderful to see you. Hold up. Let me turn my screen up so I make sure I see everybody. Salute to my beautiful sis, Cammy Cam. Convos with Cam, that is, in the building with her nines on deck. She says, my beautiful sis, blessings to you always, with her hearts and her peace signs and her lovey love. Thank you so much, beautiful sis. Wonderful to see you. I hope that you are well. Okay. All of my regards to you. All of my regards, of course, to the Queen Mama Love as well, Mama Fields. So big, big hugs and love to my beautiful sis. My twin is in the building as well. Salute to the King Daryl. He says, salute to the beautiful Queen, aka my twin, Sugar Free, and salute to the rest of the kings and queens in the chat. Infinite blessings to my twin, always 10 toes and nothing less. Salute to the King, Daryl, in the building. Always anxious to see you, to talk to you every week. Salute to my twin with the good vibes on deck as always. Who else we got up in here? Oh my goodness, we got the King, Patrice, my big stepper. Infinite blessings to the King, Patrice. You know, it always brings a smile to my face to see you, King. I hope that you had a wonderful week that just passed, right? Blessings to you and yours. The King, Patrice, says, pay attention. Hold up, because I got to prepare myself, because every week, you know what I mean? He switches the, you know what I'm saying? So we gotta do this right, because King Patrice be dropping psalms, not even bars. He drops psalms when he's in the building. So we got to read this properly. The King Patrice says, pay attention and hear the truth be told. She dropping more knowledge than Mansa Musa dropped gold? God damn, Patrice. That one was heavy. I like that one because you done took me back to my Africanity. Okay, you took me back to my motherland. You know what I'm saying? Brought the swag of Mansa Musa, the great elder, the great ancestor up in here. I've received that. And I received the gold. Thank you to the King Patrice. Always big stepping with the wonderful, wonderful words and the wonderful energy on deck each week. Blessings to the King Patrice. And we also have the Queen Mama Love in the building. Speaking of the beautiful Mama Love, blessings to you, beautiful Queen. She says, salute to my beautiful child of love, the Warrior Queen. Yes, indeed. You already know how we come in, Mama Love. Infinite blessings to you, infinite wellness to you, infinite peace and infinite energy. You already know I'm sending that to you twofold. Lovely to see you in good spirits. Lovely to see you in the building, Mama Love. Thank you so much for gracing this space with your presence this Sunday. Big, big love to my Mama Love. And we also got the King Uncommon, aka St. Louis Mix, in the building. Salute to the King Uncommon. He says, salute to the Warrior Queen, SugarFreeMars. Peace and blessings to the chat. Y'all smash the like button for the Queen, please. And thank you. Okay. Thank you, Uncommon, for reminding the good people. All right. That's why I got my mods in the building to send those reminders out as frequently as possible. Thank you so much for starting us off right. Okay. King St. Louis, thank you so much. Infinite love, infinite blessings to you as always. And let's see where we can begin today as the good family gets settled in here. Now, hold on, let me just take a sip of this water. Can you guys hear me okay? Everything audible? Everything good? Hopefully you guys are okay. I haven't heard any complaints so far, so I'm going to roll with that everything is intelligible for you. Now, let's see how I want to commence today's discussion. Hold on, let me just take this off here. I'm a little hot up in here. The stove is on hot already. I'm getting warmed up, y'all. Hold up. Yes, and how did you know, twin? My peppermint is dead ass on deck right now. And I was trying to do good with it and hide the smacking, but I'm definitely indulging on my little peppermint right now. You already know what time it is. So yes, that's how we do. Now let's see how I want to do this now. Okay, so interesting past week we've had since we last hold on, let me turn my phone on silent because we don't need any crazy ass notifications popping up. Okay. Crazy little week we had previous week that we just find ourselves coming out of, as far as the context of what's going on in boxing. Now, I kind of have been just real talk, been made exhausted of this particular discussion that I want to touch first with you guys. And it's just the idea of all the double talking that I see going on nonstop. Just incessant double talking. There is a fickle nature going on in boxing. There's a saying one thing and doing another, as we are all very well aware of and privy to, from particular fighters that are going, that are, going back and forth and trying to act like they're stepping in one direction when all the while they are going completely in the opposite direction. That type of mood and that type of energy, I find myself so sick of, you guys. And I have very, very little patience. And honestly, there's been a culmination of this particular feeling in me for quite some time. And I don't know, it's 2026, you guys. We done been there and did that. We done participated in the squabble of these fighters. We done participated in the, back and forths on Twitter with fighters. We done picked sides and stood there. Some of us then switched sides. Some of us then, whatever the fuck the case was, but we have run the gamut on the positions that we have taken as boxing fans, right? And we thought that these things perhaps were an effort to support the materialization and the concretization of fights being made, when all the while it just seems for naught. It seems like all of that banter back and forth, all of the suppositions, all of the assumptions, all of the marination, oh, let it marinate this, let it marinate that, that type of talk was for naught. And here we are all of this time later in an entirely new year. And we find ourselves, very much in the same position. We barely moved an inch away from the days where, we had initially, been calling for these fights to get made. And I find that all the while, all of this double talking is, or has been commencing. We haven't gotten 2 steps beyond where we began. Even though there's so much double talking, there isn't any movement going on, right? We seem to be 2 steps behind, in fact. I feel like a lot of it has regressed. There's a regression going on. And I find that we are in a state of retrograde instead of progress. And it's concerning to me as a diehard, as a boxing enthusiast, as somebody who definitely is passionate about the sport and wants to see the propelling towards, um, the sport's continued growth, continued maturity, continued rise, right? Into merit, into, proximity to eliteness, if you will. And I find like the actions that have been taking place in boxing are, have been taking away from the glory that we could all be basking in right now, as far as boxing's relevance, as far as its claim, as far as its prominence, and the possibilities for it to go, beyond and into new territory. But we could only do that by way of elite competitorship, being exhibited. There cannot be a fear, in other words, of competitorship. And this is a constant theme within this particular space and within the spaces of all conscious, um, boxing spaces who divulge this particular subject, who care about the best fighting the best. And that's certainly where I stand in all of this as well. I want to stand in support of the things that are going to make these fights possible. And not only possible, but to bring them into fruition and materialization. And I'm finding that there are actions being had, um, from fighters that just, talk a good game, talk like they are the best. They just want to wear the cloak of supremacy, but they don't actually want to prove supremacy. How many times have we spoken about this, brothers and sisters? It's a shame that we kind of have to repeat the theme, in so many discussions. But, you know, this is what is had. This is the current dynamic in boxing. And I'd even posit that it is being presumed to be some type of trend, for the reason why we are seeing more and more of a repeated pattern, right? People are not anxious to, drop this particular angle, to change this particular disposition. I posit that they are looking to assume it, right? Because it's a sort of protection in and of itself. They can bask in people's glory, right? For, some temporary gain or achievement. They could bask in that glory and wear that glory as some type of fake crown. And they don't have to actually go out and earn the actual crown, right? Because they are content with just, I don't know, a moniker, a title, right? What's alleged of them, right? A mythology. It's an interesting time in boxing that we are in, ladies and gentlemen. My question is, at the end of it all, and particularly over the past week, well, I mean always, but definitely in engaging with, the recent fights with Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis, I centralize it around them because in looking at them, these two supposed and alleged great fighters, right? I look at them and I say, well, great, how? If these people are recoiling away from the very thing that will prove them to be of the type of merit and stature that we want to acclaim them to have, right? So my question over the past week is, what is it going to take? What is it going to take to make these cats want to fucking fight? That's the question. Like, that's the bottom line of it. What is it going to take? Because the double talk is simply not enough. It is not enough to say one thing and have your actions speak a completely different language. You understand? For the past week, brothers and sisters, I have been absolutely dumbfounded by, just how fickle these particular fighters are when it comes to solidifying what would be their biggest, most significant bouts of their careers. I was just, I'm just sitting back absolutely dumbfounded by how fickle they are when it comes to that. When it comes to the very biggest fight that will put the stamp on them as fighters, as having earned their biggest bags and etc., right? The recoiling and refraining away from that is mind-boggling to me, right? And this is the Debo effect that is going on. This is the how insurmountable the Debo effect seems to be. It's absolutely astounding, brothers and sisters. Real talk. And you guys know I have unpacked the Debo effect, some lives ago. But how resounding it is. I mean, it's just a constant thing. And it really is a phenomena in and of itself, all on its own, this Debo effect. And what it does, the chain reaction that it causes, is absolutely astounding to me. The young King Devin, he just appears to be, I don't know, some type of hurricane. What is causing these people to, repeatedly run, duck, dodge, and evade this man? He's like a walking human hurricane or some type of tornado or, some type of insurmountable, impenetrable force that must be avoided at all costs and by whatever means possible in order to survive. That's how they deal with Devin. Like, it's like a cliff that you just, you don't go next to, because if you do, you might slip and fall off that bitch. That's how they treat Dev. Like, at all costs, he has to be avoided. It's crazy to me, beautiful people. I really just don't get it. I absolutely do not get it. Instead of running towards this man, right, with all the accreditation and stature that he holds, okay, he is, highly acclaimed, highly successful fighter, okay, out here young and proving himself to be the top of his class. Wouldn't you think that these people will be running towards him to take his crown, to discredit his place, to prove supremacy above his? They're running away, and I just don't know why. Unless they also agree that he is him and they can't beat him. Right? That's the disposition that these fighters seem to hold. And I really want the boxing community to be conscious of this reality, okay, of that position that Devin Haney holds, one that posits, inadvertently, right? Not intentionally, because he just wants to fight the best, but the energy that it causes within his contemporaries, the people around him, it really ought to be studied, brothers and sisters. And this is what I want the conscious boxing community and the whole boxing community to be privy to, because this is a reality that is going on. And I know people just like to, probably throw it under the rug, particularly because they don't like Devin or whatever have you, which is neither here nor there. I don't care if you don't like him. The effect still stands. This is the effect he has on his contemporaries. They do not want any smoke with this man. They don't want it. And the proof is in the goddamn pudding. We don't got to use no magnifying glass for this shit. It's absolutely evident, people. Look at the circumventing that goes on. Right? There's a whole lot of denial going on about the effect that Devin Haney is having on his contemporaries. Right? People want to pardon themselves from the table when it comes to acknowledging the significance of DHP and his impact on the fighters. I'm talking spanning across divisions, people. Spanning across divisions. I am absolutely baffled by the fickle inclinations of fight fans alike. So it's the fighters and it's also the fight fans, right? Because we got fight fans out here who posture, and media alike, right? Which I kind of put in the, in the same category, right? But particularly the fanship who posture that they want to see the best fighting the best, right? This is what they say. Oh, I like to see the best fighting the best. I'm a boxing fan, and you're a casual. They laugh and they go, you're a casual to other people, all the while toting themselves up as if they want to see the best fight the best. But the actuality is that these very people are the ones who shudder, absolutely shudder at the thought of their favorite, their beloved fighter, getting in the center of the battlefield. They fear that shit, but have the gall to sit back and cackalack calling somebody else a goddamn casual? What is this? How the fuck can you call somebody else a casual when you running and ducking from the best fight and the best your goddamn self? How is it possible that one can call for the best fighting the best while simultaneously running, brothers and sisters, running to shield and protect their favorite fighter from due battle to see who the fuck the best is? How are you running and shielding and trying to protect these men from the very thing that they do? This is the double talking I'm speaking of, brothers and sisters. It's wild sitting back and looking at this. Double talking every goddamn where. Oh, I want to see the best fight the best. Oh, yeah, my fighter is the best. Meanwhile, when you put a real one in front of them and say, all right, well, why don't they go fight this guy? Go hash it out over there. Oh, no, that's when hypotheticals come along. Or he'll beat him anyway. He don't need to fight him. He'll beat him anyway. Oh, he's a champion. He don't need to give this dude a chance. He's a champion. He's the A side. And all of the other things we can run the gamut on as far as their excuses, as far as their coping mechanisms, all to keep them away from having to deal with the reality that their fighters are not and cannot and will never be proven until they get in there with the elite around them. That's the only thing that's going to prove that. Not your goddamn hypotheticals. Not your motherfucking dreams. Not how you like how this particular fighter braids their hair or wears their clothes or made such and such amount this previous fight or the other. The only thing that's going to solidify their merit is do battle with the elites. That's how you get made. I don't know, what's the rocket science behind the comprehending of this? It's not rocket science. You want to be the best and presume yourself the best? You have to prove that. There is protocol. All the greats had to do it, brothers and sisters. Why are these people thinking that they are able to bypass the code? Bypass a particular rite of passage that all the beautiful giants, all the beautiful brothers before them had to go through themselves. Who are these dudes to think they don't have to go through that fire? You understand? I cannot tell you how many, just in listening to the different mindsets across social media, it's absolutely astounding to me. I come across so many, comments on my Twitter posts, just on my page alone. I'm not even speaking about the platforms that I frequent, who also have to engage with this level of delusion from all sorts of, fanships for different bases or whatever have you. But just across my own, feed, let's say my Twitter post and all the comments that I've seen, let's say on my videos as well. And, the commentary that I do, feedback you get, you hear people like dropping their little thoughts, making their little posits here and there. Grown ass men, brothers and sisters, all across social media, grown ass men are doing literally everything but shedding a tear. That's how the ranting goes. That's how far the crying goes, the lamenting and complaining, doing every goddamn thing in the comment sections, but shedding a literal tear. All of this is an effort to, I don't know, maybe persuade me or persuade, the people who will come across their comments, with their hypothetical exclamations, alleging, for example, Shakur is going to be Devin senseless, right? or he's going to beat him any old goddamn ways. Telling me how he's the best thing since daylight, right? He's going to smoke Devin's boots, all of these types of claims and stuff like that. But when I asked them, well, why isn't he accepting the fight? Why isn't he taking on the offer? How many times and in how many ways does the young King Dev have to say, let's get it popping? Does Devin got to put that shit in subtitles for these bitches? Does he got to say that shit in Chinese, Mandarin, goddamn Spanish, Portuguese, goddamn Latin, and Igbo? He got to put that shit in Yoruba? He got to put that shit in Creole, French? Well, how many languages does he have to say, let's get it popping in? Brothers and sisters, how the fuck do I say, let's get it popping in Cambodian? Because maybe Devin got to put that shit in, a whole nother goddamn language with the subtitles for these motherfuckers to get that he's on demon time and he wants smoke with them. You know what I mean? It's crazy out here. When I ask them that, why don't they just go, tell your favorite to go get that smoke? And when you posit that, these people with all of their opinions, all of their hypotheticals, all of their exclamations absolutely turn to dust because they cannot justify why all of this inaction is ensuing. They posit some vague-ass alibi, some type of excuse or a cloak about Shakur being offered, the famous thing that they love to revert to. Oh, well, he was offered a low ball offer of 25%. Ain't that interesting how they all revert back to 3 years ago when Devin offered, Shakur the 25% for the fight? They all revert right back to that as justification. Well, if he didn't give him that low ball offer, 3,000 goddamn years ago, maybe Shakur would have then possibly, particularly, got a figment of inspiration in his imagination to have taken that fight. This is how they curtail. This is how they curtail around their coping, having to cope with reality, right? But the reality, brothers and sisters, is that they know good and goddamn well how terrible it is that Shakur at that particular time outrightly ducked, outrightly evaded, and outrightly bypassed the biggest opportunity of his career to date, brothers and sisters. To date. He has not, ever since those times, been offered anything more substantial than what Devin Haney offered him at that time. Make it make sense. There is no justification for that man's actions. Nothing justified it 3 years ago when the offer was made to him, and 3 years later, good people, it remains unjustifiable. Because as I said, he has never been offered anything to the level of significance and to the degree of undisputed ever since then. That was the first and the last. Not to mention the financial gains that he stood to make at that time. These man fans are very well privy to this, but want to be in denial. Absolute denial. That's why they are crying in my comments. That's why they are crying in our favorites comments and wherever else, whomever else's content, seeks to expose this type of truth, they're going to be crying on their goddamn comment sections as well, trying to cope and deal with. Right? My thing is, how about these people with all that goddamn crying, brothers and sisters? How about these people go cry to Shakur? Why are you motherfucking coming in my goddamn mention? Why are you going in my brother's mentions? My sister's mentions? Why are they in the comment sections of the conscience folk who have the wherewithal enough to call out the folly? Go cry to Shakur. Shouldn't you be going to cry to him, knocking on his goddamn door? Go knock on Keyshawn's door and ask what the fuck is going on. Facts are no, good people, because they are the ones out here having these, motherfuckers look like some goddamn suckers. That's how I feel about it. They got you out here looking crazy as hell. Not me. I don't got you out here looking goddamn crazy. You know what I mean? Actually, if you really want to look at it with some perspective, I'm out here fighting for your motherfucking merit and dignity and respect as a boxing fan, because I am calling for your fighter to actually go do what they say they can do to everybody, which is beat them. Go do that shit. But go complain to them so that they can prove you right, that they are the best, so that they can prove me right. Hell, everybody right or wrong. But go out there and do that. But it is the fighters out here, having these people looking like some goddamn suckers. It's not me. It's not you. It's not the conscious community who calls this out. It's the fucking fighters that got you looking like some hoes out here. Absolute hoes. I am calling out the folly and absurdity of their ducking. You know what I mean? Shouldn't they be as well? Shouldn't these people be calling them out as well, so as to prove the very thing you say you believe your fighter to be? I absolutely know that I want the best to fight the best. Okay? That's what I know. There is no question about that whatever on my side. That's precisely why I back the fighters that I back. That's why I back the fighters that give me, what I ask for. They give me that, and they work to make that their standard. That's why they have my support. Why aren't these people demanding the same thing of Shakur and Keyshawn, for example, brothers and sisters? Do their fans really want to see them be great, or is this just all horseplay? What's going on? Do they want to see those men be great? What are they really fans of those men for if they are not going to push for that greatness? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. Or is it possible that these fans, are just contented with the notion of their presumptions of some mythological, intangible mirage? Is that what it is? That's very much what it seems to be to me, that they are comfortable with the intangible, with the mirage, the image, the presumption of. They're not content with the reality. It's the fantasy. Hence the hypothetical they always revert to, hypothetical notions, hypothetical outcomes. Oh, he'll beat him. He don't have to fight him. He will beat him. That's an absolute mirage, because that cannot be proven until he actually gets on that battlefield and does the goddamn thing. You understand? It's absolutely very much to be the latter to me, which is that they are comfortable with the mirage, with anything intangible and hypothetical. That definitely seems to be the case to me. This is why so many of these so-called fans, who are confronted with forthright conversations, brothers and sisters, such as the one that we are having right now. That's why when they are confronted with these forthright conversations and the analysis into the lack of action taken by these men, this is why their feathers get ruffled, brothers and sisters. They get absolutely frenzied by the veil being removed. Frenzied. They cannot deal with the removal of that particular veil. But what is really the big deal when we look deeper at it, brothers and sisters, is my question. What's the big deal? So what? We are analyzing this. So what? We are doing our reconnaissance. Shouldn't we be? Shouldn't we be? What else the fuck am I giving my money towards? Am I giving my support towards? Am I giving my time towards? My conversation towards? Etc., etc. What else is it for? Am I supposed to just sit here and be fucking dead weight? I don't sit passively for any goddamn thing. I don't care what it is that I am doing. I like to be fully participatory in everything that I do. Boxing is no goddamn different, baby. I'm all the way in there. I don't take a passive role as a boxing fan. So that when I'm showing up to watch a fight, when I go to a fight, you know what I'm saying? When I whatever speak about a fight, it has all of my passion, all of my vehemence, all of my awareness attached to it. I don't sit and receive anything blindly. So when I ask questions, it is in support of the thing that I love, the thing that I am passionate about, which is what we are all here for, which is some wonderful, beautiful boxing, some wonderful display of warriorship. You know what I mean? The preciousness that I see going on, brothers and sisters, is absolutely the oddest thing that I have noticed taking place within this era of boxing. And it seems to be taking boxing by absolute storm. Precious, the preciousness. It's just, I'm like, what? The fighters are divas, and the fans placate the mentality 1000%. They lift it up, they support it, they nurture it. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And it's like, is the O being on the line for people like Shakur and Keyshawn and let's say Tank Davis, even, the undefeated, is the O the thing that's making them so afraid, so timid and tepid as far as competition goes? Why they want to keep them at a mediocre level? Because you would rather them stay at a mediocre median level than to go out and risk and challenge somebody in fear of losing that particular O. It's like these people act as if the virginity of these men is on the line and they have to protect them. Like there's these virgin men. That's what this seems like to me, right? This preciousness about these fighters, almost like the chastity of these fighters that they have to protect at all costs. Isn't that the mindset? Isn't that the way it feels? Like, what are these people, so protective of? It's the most bizarre. I don't even know what is going on in these people's minds. Instead of saying, go out there and fight and prove your valor. You know what I'm saying? Warriorship. Yes, I want to see these things on display. Come what may, I'm riding with you. But go out there and show that heart. I'm standing 10 toes, nothing less. Go out there and go get it. Instead of having that mentality, these people are saying, let me hold your hand now across the street now. Let me lay this puddle. Let me lay this jacket over this puddle for you now. Hold on, you can't walk before I put roses out in front of you. What is this? Is it the O that that they are afraid of seeing on the line for the reason why they rescind away from any notion of competition for their favorite, or perhaps it's nothing to do at all with their favorite fighter. Maybe it's not even concerning their favorite fighter, but more so, they have concerns about Devin. I was sitting with that question as well. Like, maybe it's not about their fighter per se. Maybe this has to do with Devin. Is this why some of these deluded fans and the logic that's going around, is this why, they go on a sheer and utter tangent whenever the young king is mentioned in conjunction with their favorite? Whenever the young king presses on them, there's the ruffling of feathers, right? Whenever Devin does something, posturing or saying, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want you, ruffles are getting feathered, right? Whenever young king gets on that bike and starts spinning a block on him, the blood pressure just skyrockets from these motherfuckers. It's crazy. So maybe it's not even their favorites. Maybe it's just Devin that these suckers are scared of. Right? Maybe they are sensing within their fighters the same thing. And so they are mirroring the sentiments of their fighters because all of these fighters are avoiding Devin. And so inadvertently, the fans have created an aversion to Devin as well, because that's what their favorite fighters have done in the realm of competing with him. Right? Very interesting stuff, you guys. And I think that, this embedded sense of fear and hesitation that we see permeating within the fanship of these said fighters, like I said, is a byproduct, 1000%, of the energy of reticence and inhibition that these fighters themselves have, whether inadvertently expressed, or outrightly expressed for Devin over time. I think there's a culmination that has happened with these fighters. They saw the progression of Devin over time, right? And so the more he climbed, the more he acclaimed for himself, right? The higher he got, the further ahead along he got. These people, recoiled more and more and more and more from wanting to compete with him. This is why, in my view, he is so far ahead of the line. I just got to be honest about that. The fanship is but a reflection, beautiful people, of the temperature of their fighter. In other words, they are a reflection of the temperature of their fighters, the mindset of their fighters. They take that on. And I'm wondering, is it because, of that we are seeing a wider scale of reticence just in general in the boxing world when it comes to, them proving themselves, particularly with Devin Haney, in the realm of competition with Devin Haney, right? And the promoters have assumed this. We see Eddie Hearn refraining away from wanting his fighters to compete with Devin. I mean, it's just rampant, good people. And it's absolutely, because Shakur Stevenson, for example, has unabashedly, expressed, for example, right, recently, he expressed that he will not fight Devin without a rehydration clause. Let's look at that as an example, as another example, right? Or I'm not going to fight Devin without a rehydration clause. This is what he said. This is what he said. Oh, I'm not going to fight him without no rehydration clause because, I'm too small and barely a 135. Overnight, he's barely 135. Barely can make 135, right? And this mindset that he has presumed and assumed is the cause for his fan base to rally around and support his nonsense. They take on the excuse, whether they agree with it or not. Because he said it, they take it on. And this is their way. This is how they think they are in support of him. Instead of calling him out, they regurgitate and parrot the sentiments. This is not good for boxing, brothers and sisters. Think about that. Let's take a hard look at that and hold it up into the light for a moment, brothers and sisters. Because trust me, Shakur is plenty conscious of his base. He is plenty aware of what he wants them to promote, echo, and uphold. So if he says it, in other words, brothers and sisters, he knows that there is going to be a legion of people, may not be every single one of them, but he knows that a substantial amount of them will parrot those sentiments and propel it and push it forth in the general boxing discourse. The fans complain about the 25% offer because Shakur called it a quote unquote low ball offer, so that they have regurgitated the excuse for his evasion and cowardice. The fans parrot the sentiment and they fight pointlessly to the death to support his claims. No matter the deception that they've been inculcated with via that mindset does not matter. Many of these fans do not think to question the thought processes or motivations of, the particular fighter at hand. At this case, in this example, we're going to use Shakur. They simply tag along, right, which I guess to some degree is okay if you are just absolutely satisfied with seeing your favorite fight Ronald McDonald or Big Bird or something like that. And it doesn't matter, you'll still support him. I guess that's okay for that particular supporter. Don't matter who the fuck is in front of him. Oh, I'm rocking. It don't matter. Motherfucker could fight a motherfucking a mailbox and I'll be there, signing up for that. That, I guess, on that level for that particular fight, that's fine, right? But for the cognizant enthusiast, right? The cognizant supporter with some semblance of awareness, that simply cannot suffice. This is why I'm holding the fire to those people who claim that they want elite warriorship on display, only to turn around and make senseless rationalizations for the irrational. It's those people I'm holding to the fire. The ones that claim cognizance, ones that claim they want warriorship on the best fight, the best fight. I want to see the best, the elites. Yeah, my dude is elite. Yeah, he could beat this, he could beat that. Make all types of justifications for the rescinding. Doesn't make sense to me. Instead of looking at Shakur and saying, for example, yo, bro, you know what I'm saying? You turned down 25% at that time of all gross earnings. 25% of all gross earnings had for that fight. Everything. All revenue gained. You were going to get 25% of that. Plus a fight for undisputed against Dev. Who have you fought since you made that level of that ridiculous refusal to fight Devin? Who have you fought since then? Was your fight with Schofield / Padley worth you denying and turning down that offer? Did the fight with De Los Santos compare to what you got in that offer? How about goddamn Zepeda? Did that fight amount to anything near the significance or stature or value of undisputed against goddamn Devin Haney? Instead of asking that, dissecting that, these people run from any level of reconnaissance because Shakur runs from what will prove him to be an elite in the sport. They run like him. No accountability whatsoever. Shakur runs from what will prove him and solidify his merit in the sport. And his fanship follows suit. Much of them, not all of them. I'm not talking to the real ones in the building who rock with Shakur or who have rocked with Shakur, right? I'm talking about this deluded mindset and mentality that seems to be running rampant in the sport right now among this particular percentage of people, this particular sect of people. Now, even in the fight with Teofimo Lopez, let's look at that, right? Just, what was that, a week ago? This was the most reputable name that he has ever faced, right? As I have said repeatedly, in that fight's buildup. Teo is the most reputable name on his resume to date. And yes, Shakur is now a 4th division champion, which is a good, great accomplishment, right? But let's just look at that. Look at how carelessly he postured about, once he won the belt, he was going to give it up. Ain't that careless? Now, the fanship will try to use that 4th division, acclamation, as a something, to pedestalize, something to salute and revere, right? But he got before he even got the belt, he's like, well, I'm about to give that up and throw it in the arms of Keyshawn goddamn Davis. I mean, look how careless that is, right? So, he claimed championship that he doesn't even care about, brothers and sisters. I just got questions about that, in viewing that, right? Because I was congratulatory and in the celebratory mood, when he won it as well. But engaging with that, I had to remember, oh, that man said that, basically fuck that belt. That he was going to throw it to Keyshawn and go do whatever he wanted to do, which was either go back to 135, supposedly, right? I don't know how realistic that is now that he was stripped of the WBC title at 135. He was either going to do that or go, I guess, try to get a fight with Conor Ben or whatever, nonsense that was. Right. But the question at the root of this for me in looking at this was, what are his motives and intentions here? Why is Shakur Stevenson so vague about his aims? Right? Because that's where the double talking comes in, because he isn't solidified in his aims. He never makes it clear. He never expounds upon his intentions. Everything is double talking. He is not consistent with anything. It's very topsy-turvy. 1 minute he's over here, next minute he's over here. Right? Inconsistencies are everywhere, replete. When I think of Shakur Stevenson, I think about contradiction. Right? Now that he's been stripped, like I said, of that 135 belt, what is his next move? Has he made a statement since then? I mean, he made a statement complaining about the WBC and his payment of his fees, right? But no explicating was had about what he intends to do. Is he going to stay at 140 and defend? Is he going to unify with Russell, Smith, Hitchens, right? What's happening there? Then we have the folly of him, of course, calling the Conor Ben into the ring after the fight with goddamn Tio. That whole absolute charade and debacle of a moment, right? But now you got Conor Ben talking about, hell no, I ain't fighting no goddamn Shakur Stevenson with no rehydration clause. I'm not doing it. It's just an absolute parody, right? So that everything is imbalanced. Everything is imbalanced. Nothing is stabilized. Meanwhile, all of this is going on in the biggest fight of his life. The biggest fight of his life, brothers and sisters, is not only on the table for him to be had right at this moment, but it's hot and fresh out the damn oven. Devin is still calling this man out, beautiful people. Devin called out again, both he and Keyshawn Davis over the past week. I'm sure many of you have seen it, right? I did a little short on it if you guys checked out my short. This is Devin reminding them, while you're trying to run over here and double talk, while you're trying to run over there and double talk, here I am waving my fucking arms at you saying, yeah, nigga, what's popping? Right? Called their asses out again over the past week, reminding them that anybody can get it. Any one of y'all, take your pick, little bro, big bro. Both of y'all is food on the plate. And it's been mum's the word, brothers and sisters. Everybody notice that? No gusto, no vehemence whatsoever, no alacrity towards making that fight happen with Devin. No smoke, no banter there. Everything going quiet now. Right? Now that their fights have been over with and taken care of over the last week, everything going goddamn quiet. After that whole debacle and charade of Keyshawn, I want Devin, I want him, I got to have him next. Right? Only to turn around and say, oh, well, I don't need Devin no more. You know what I'm saying? I could go fight Crocker if I want to. I already been in talks with Eddie the Scammer, to fight Crocker next. I don't need Devin. Right? Devin took to his Twitter, if you guys didn't see it, and he stated the following, quote, me and Shakur is the next biggest fight in boxing. I want him and Keyshawn. Little bro, then big bro. And then he came back and added, quote, I'm okay with big brother first too. This is the young King Debo, brothers and sisters, always with the smoke. All right? So that there is absolutely no mystification here whatsoever, in other words, good people, on the part of the young king. We are not mystified at all when it comes to this man's intentions and motivations. We are plenty clear of what time Devin Haney is stepping on. He is looking at these men and saying, I want you. How many fucking languages does this man have to put it in? He put it in the language of a hit list. He put it in the language of a tweet. He put it in the language of an interview. What the fuck? What does this man have to do? What more does he have to do? because he seems to be speaking in one direction. There is no double talking coming from the young king. Young king says what he means. Period. Why are these people speaking in every other direction but towards him? Towards the solidifying of this fight, which is the biggest fight in boxing. The young king is absolutely right about that. And everybody knows that. That's why people are swarming around this particular topic, even in their evasion of it. It is still on their lips. It is still on their minds, this particular fight. Right? How interesting was it that Shakur Stevenson, an entire day later, after that tweet that Devin Haney made, an entire day later, Shakur Stevenson responded. This is what Shakur had to say. Quote, "Be careful what you ask for. Things might just happen." That's Shakur Stevenson's response to Devin, brothers and sisters. That's the first thing that came to my mind. It was 1,000 goddamn question marks in my head when I read that man's response. What? Did that sound like a viable response to you? Did that sound like a response to a smoke signal put out for you, brothers and sisters? What kind of soft, frail, tepid, decrepit, feeble ass goddamn response was that, beautiful people? Be careful what you ask for. Things might just happen. What's he talking about? Be careful. Motherfucker, stop running and goddamn ducking and make it happen. What are you talking about? Be careful. What the fuck is there to be careful of? Can somebody tell me? I am a warrior and I want to smoke with you. What is there for me to be careful of if I am calling for your head? I'm calling for this man's head on a plate. You think I got time to be fucking careful? You think I want to, quote unquote, be careful? If I wanted to be careful, you think I'd be trying to take your goddamn head off your damn shoulders? What the hell is this be careful talk about? Ain't no goddamn be careful. I want all of that. You're going to spill blood like paint. That's what I want. Ain't no be careful around these goddamn parts. I'm calling for smoke. If I wanted to be careful, I'd be sitting on a fucking beach sipping lemonade with my goddamn, getting my pinky toes done or something like that. Getting a goddamn pedicure if I wanted to, quote unquote, be careful out here. What is this puss talking about? Be careful. I was astounded, brothers and sisters. Absolutely revolted by that statement. It had no heart, all sucker energy all over. What type of chump shit is that? Be careful now. You just might get it. Nigga, that's what the fuck you think I'm calling your name for? Chump. I'm calling you because I want that work. I want all of that. Knee deep. I want all of that. What are you talking about? Be careful. I'm not trying to take care of nothing or be careful about nothing but this ass whooping I'm handling out, because I'm going to candidly and wholeheartedly be careful about kicking you all up and down the street, molly-whopping you all upside your head and everything. That's what I'm trying to be careful about handling, the ass whooping that I'm about to hand out to your ass. What is he talking about, good people? I'm trying to take care of putting you in the dirt. That's what I'm trying to take care of. That's what I'm trying to be careful with. How precisely and thoroughly I'm going to put your ass in the dirt. What the hell is this man talking about? I was just like, yo, what is he? Oh my God. It just absolutely took the wind out of my sails looking at. This is war. This is war, good people. Am I tripping or not? I'm not pulling a fucking chair out for you over a candlelight dinner. You pull out a chair carefully so that this ain't no fucking candlelit dinner. Be careful now. What? What is this soft ass shit? I cannot stand it. Where is Shakur Stevenson's fire? Where was the fire in his response? You tell me if I'm tripping. Did anybody sense any fire in that? Did anybody get the sense that he was with the shits with that response? Where is Shakur saying something like this? How about he say instead, you know what I'm saying? Oh, all right, say less. Oh, you want big bro and then little bro? Say less. So that means that you're looking to get your ass whooped twice. Back to back. Oh, okay. Got the message. Sign me up. But I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's going to be much left for little bro after big bro get through cleaning this goddamn plate of food. That's the type of energy I'm looking for. He's just, deflated, some type of vague, indefinite, nebulous ass, obscure ass response. Be careful now. You just might get. What type of soft ass shit is this? You just might get what you asking for now. What? Brothers and sisters, it's obvious to me, that Shakur Stevenson at that particular moment only replied because he did not want people to go on noticing him refraining from the smoke. That's why he said the most nebulous thing that he could think up, just as vague and half-hearted as he wanted to. So it could seem like he's about it, but he didn't say, he said everything except what? Let's fucking fight. You just might ask for it. Nigga, what the fuck you think I'm calling you out for if I'm not asking for it? Child. And the fact that he didn't reply with a definitive acceptance in his response to Devin, says it all to me. Nothing definitive about that statement whatsoever. You just might. So now, nigga, I'm just hanging on the fringes of the possibility that I just might perhaps be privy to the possibility or your inclination of your whims on that particular Wednesday while you picking daffodils. I just got to wait for you to have a dream and fix your hair and eat the right food at this particular time for you to get the gist of a hint in the wind of the possibility of fighting me, nigga. What the fuck is this? Nothing concrete or definitive at all about that response, brothers and sisters. He wants no parts of Devin Haney. We already know what time it is. And Keyshawn Davis made absolutely no response to Devin Haney's tweet at all. He said absolutely nothing in response to that post that Devin made, once again, calling for his head too. Lil bro and big bro is who he said he wanted. Not a single utterance from Keyshawn Davis. How many fucking ways does Devin have to make this call? I mean, this is like the 11th time that this man been calling these motherfuckers out and they ducking for cover like I don't know what out here, brothers and sisters. It's sickening. Absolutely sickening to me. And these are the same people, however, who just say they're the best. People just assume that Keyshawn is on that type of time and that Shakur is on that type of time. And you know what? To some degree, they very well may be. They very well may be. Very well, right? Except when it comes to Devin. That's when the whole conversation changes. That's when the whole disposition flips upside down on its head and absolutely changes a different color. How is this type of energy being exhibited found to be acceptable from any angle? It's not acceptable to me. I don't care how you flip this. How can fighters assuming this particular posture be referred to as the best of anything when they recoil from smoke, when they recoil from valor, elite competition, and the exemplification of their talent and potential on the battlefield? Why are these fighters not being admonished outrightly, more readily? Now that the smoke has cleared from that whole celebratory mood that people have been in over the past week, following their performances, Core and Keyshawn, you know what I'm saying? After all of that smoke clears, which it has now, that we are a week removed, now we see reality emerging, still unchanged. Reality still unabated, which is the fact that these men will take any opportunity to say Devin's name, to associate themselves with him in one particular light or another. But they all tuck their chains quick, fast, when he's on the block applying pressure, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. That's what they are doing, tucking in their chains. Are these people going to continue to resort to tucking in their chains? Or are these motherfuckers trying to do something? When do we get to the point of them trying to do something? Instead of talking about what they perhaps might do on a good day if the wind blows right in August. You understand me? Is this what the current era has to offer, brothers and sisters? Is another question that I posit. Is this what this era has to offer? A bunch of cowardly evasions? While we dote upon these fighters, calling them the best? While they blatantly evade the very thing that will prove their supremacy and stature? It's the evasions, brothers and sisters, that seem to me to be making its way to the headlines. Evasion is making its way into the boxing discourse. We are talking more about evasions than we are smoke. We are talking more about evasions and cowardice than fights being made, brothers and sisters. Is this boxing or fucking ice skating? These motherfuckers might as well take up ice skating the way they skating and flipping around sharp corners and fucking sliding past motherfucking, you know what I mean? It's wild out here. These motherfuckers need to sign up for gymnastics. They're the gymnastic champions of the world, the way they fucking flipping stories, flipping mindsets, flipping stances, flipping out of dodge from smoke. And people wonder why there are a legion of people who posit that Devin Haney is the most premier, elite, and worthy fighter among his contemporaries. This is why. It is because he is the only one among them willing to compete and prove that he is the best fighter in the world. He wants to prove that. He is saying, bring me your best. It's him you like, bring him to the center. Him you like, bring his ass to the center. Oh, that, bring that nigga to the center. I want smoke with him. And I will show you how great I am. That's Devin. Meanwhile, these other niggas are saying, he too big, I'm too small. Oh, look at this waist. Oh, I need a rehydration clause. Every goddamn excuse in the book to avoid proving the very thing that Devin Haney is willing to prove at the drop of a goddamn dime. How is there only one in a sport that claims to be about the best fighting the best, brothers and sisters? How is there only one or so few, so seldom willing to prove that? The fact that fighters like Core, Keyshawn, and others draw the line at simply talking about it and not proving it is not only sickening to me, but it is quickly dragging the merit and the spirit and purpose, the very purpose of the sport, absolutely asunder. And that's unacceptable to me as an enthusiast and a diehard. What do you guys think about that? Let me check in with the good family really quickly. Peace to the brothers and sisters in the building. I see we got some more people that came in. I think I got some super chats. Hold on. Let me show love to the people showing love to the channel. You guys definitely make sure you smash the like button. Okay. Do not be reticent about showing some support and adding some paint to the super chat, right? And just coming in and showing overall support. Let me salute the family in the super chat. Salute to my brother. What's up? Here for boxing. Sending some love in the super chat. He says, if Devin is so easy and overrated, why not fight him? Precisely, King. Precisely. If he is so easy work, right? If he is so pillow-fisted, as they have been known to call him, not as of late, of course, right? But as they have been known to previously, if he is the runner that they would have loved to believe him to be at a particular time, get in there, go ahead and go subdue that. Go get the submission out of him. You know what I mean? If you this and you that and you hot stuff and, pumping your chest and stuff like that, you could do this, you could do that. You're the best in the world and all this stuff. Go ahead and go make easy work of that. Go ahead, go try that. Go get Debo. Go get Debo. Go find Debo and let's see how long you last if it's so easy work. Couldn't agree more, King, here for boxing. Thank you so much for the love and for joining. I appreciate you as always, King. Lovely to see you. Who else we got up in the super chat? We got the King Nata in the building. Salute to you, King. He says, salute SugarFreeMars and salute to the mighty LDBC. Thank you so much, King, with the love in the super chat. I appreciate you and definitely salute to my brothers in the LDBC. We love the LDBC over here. All right. Oh, we got some loving from the Queen Mama Love herself. She says, Wactive Squad is... Look how sassy Mama Love got. She says, Wactive Squad is on soft as baby's bottom time. No warrior spirit. All facts. That's exactly what they're exemplifying at this particular time, beautiful Mama Love. And it's crazy, right? Because we see so much latent potential within that group. Bud is now a retired general, right? And we are looking at the young soldiers coming up in his place, looking to rise to some type of stature and prominence. But where is their temerity? I see no temerity whatsoever. And it's actually quite disheartening considering, how, they are under the leadership or mentorship of somebody like Bud Crawford, who dared to do, accomplish wonderful, astounding things in his career, all the way up until, of course, his very last fight, which was the ultimate risk that he took to jump up essentially 3 weight classes to face Canelo, right? When has anybody ever heard of Bud Crawford demanding for a rehydration clause on his opponents? Did anybody have a history of that they can pull up some receipts for me for as far as Bud? When did we hear Bud crying and lamenting about a rehydration clause for such and such XYZ opponent, ladies and gentlemen? When did we hear Andre Ward ever lament about, rehydration clauses? Did he get in there and do his business against the opponent at hand? In fact, didn't we hear Andre Ward absolutely, completely smite the notion that a fighter should have a rehydration clause on them? Because it'll essentially be taking away from the stature and prominence and relevance of the win. Hold up. Didn't we hear Shakur Stevenson himself wave that banner of how insignificant and unmanly it is to have a mentality that would assume that you have to have a rehydration clause on a person because it removes the actual merit away from the victory if one was to be had over that particular opponent? Magically now he is, he's the king of rehydration clause. He's the poster child for rehydration clauses, supposedly. At this point, when the hell did that go awry, ladies and gentlemen, as far as Shakur Stevenson is concerned? Crazy, crazy work. Let me salute some good people that I didn't see come in earlier. I've been cooking for a little bit. Salute to my beautiful sis, Queen Bella, in the building. She says, Shakur doesn't want that fight. We all see it and know it. Could not have said it better, beautiful sis. Okay. That's exactly what it is. Then that's all it comes down to. It's simply what it comes down to at the end of the day. All facts. My twin said, I went up a ways, people. Give me a second. My twin says, what's weird, Shakur fans are some Shakur fans. Hold up. Let me turn my screen up. I didn't turn it up enough. Shakur fans are the same ones that flame Tank for what he does. Now they're acting like Tankomaniacs, is what my twin said. Yeah. The whole idea of them morphing into the same person I had spoken about on, several lives ago, right? Him taking on and mirroring not only the sentiments, but the practices of Tank Davis, right? And now we got the fanship also mirroring the placating, cost-setting mentality that we have seen, the Tankomaniacs, take on, as far as making all types of delusions to cope with the inactivity and real talk, the cowardice that Tank Davis has been exemplifying for all of this time. 1000%. Salute to the King, Snoopy Mac in the building. I see you. The King, Freedom's March in the building. I see you. Infinite blessings to the counterpart. We got Smitty Smith in the building. He says, salute, Queen. Much love. Blessings to you. Oh my goodness, we got the King Ty Rose in the building. He says every Black Fight fan should be backing Devin and Bill's movement with our dollars and our viewership for them forcing the big fights to happen for him. 1000%. 1000%. You understand? And even to those, let's say, because everybody has their particulars, everybody has their preferences. Let's say to the group of people in the boxing community who really don't, necessarily gravitate or resonate too deeply or find themselves too fond of Devin. That's absolutely natural, because I have fighters that I don't necessarily resonate with, right? But that a respect level for the moves of a fighter doing things and moving uprightly, should always be had. We do not have to go sit and have tea with a particular fighter in order to respect their motivations, in order to be privy to the fact that they are charged with the spirit and the heart, to go ahead and go prove themselves to be the best, right? That can be respected by, every fight fan, no matter, what creed, color, or, preference you may have for anything. It's the heart of valor. It's the heart of championship that we should be supporting, right? Whether we particularly rock with quote unquote this or that fighter or not. Right. So I definitely agree with you, King Ty. Salute to you, by the way. Infinite blessings to the great Mike in the building. Salute to the great Mike. Infinite blessings to you, Mike. Thank you so much for joining. We got Jay Hugh in the building. He says, Devin was weight drained like crazy for that lightweight fight, too. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And would have absolutely been replicated, right? If he was fighting Shakur Stevenson at that particular time at lightweight. Same thing would have been the case too, right? He could have fought a weight drained Devin Haney, as he said. Oh, he's going to be drained, right? He could have had the opportunity to fight Devin, quote unquote, weight drained, right? But more importantly, a Devin Haney that was, in his fucking weight class at that time, and he 1000% denied, right? So all of the advantages presented to him, he ducked and denied. He ducked and denied a weight drained Devin Haney, right? That he could have possibly got the best of. Who knows? I doubt it, but that he could have possibly got the best of, right? Given the conditions of his health, being depleted, weight drained, right? He also ducked and evaded the benefit of being given the offer of 25% of total earnings for that fight, right? And he absolutely ducked and dodged the huge and largest opportunity of his life, which was to become undisputed champion. It just doesn't make sense. No sense whatsoever. And he is still making excuses. Crazy, crazy work. Salute to my beautiful sis Tay Tay in the building. Salute to my Leo sis. Blessings to you. Okay, I got you. I got you. What else? The King here for boxing says, if you are on the side of Haney, you are on the right side of boxing. It's really that simple. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Totally. Salute. Hold up. Salute to the King, Stephen X in the building. Infinite blessings to the King, Stephen. Lovely to see you, King. Thank you so much for joining. The King Snoopy says, I keep telling people Shakur is not that good to me. He only looks good against mediocre fighters. He won't fight any real stomp down gunners. I mean, at this particular point, there's really no argument against that, King Snoopy. You understand? And this is precisely why this showing that he had last Saturday was his first test, which he passed absolutely with flying colors against Teofimo Lopez. And I'm glad that he did that. And I'm glad that he was able to put that particular name of nobility on his resume. Finally, he has the one on his resume, but that he has to continue moving upward, which is why I brought to attention the question of his motivations, because it's like, it would be so disgusting and disheartening to see that he had climbed, finally to put a name of note on his resume, only to, fall into a state of retrograde by, having somebody else, as far as his next opponent is concerned, on his resume of no similar stature or better. You should be trying to get people of Teal's stature and better on your resume, right? So it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do at 140? Are you going to stay at motherfucking 140? You know what I'm saying? Are you trying to go back down to 135, even though you've been stripped of that belt at 135 now? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? The unification, becoming a unified champion at 140 is the move. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to do that? He called out the names of no champions whatever, brothers and sisters, in his fight with Teofimo Lopez. After the fight, he did not call out one champion at 140. How is that possible? A man who just became the WBL champion called out no other champion? But you call in some fucking clown ass, Eminem ass, motherfucking Britney Spears head ass Conor Benn into the ring? Child. Who never fought for a title in his goddamn life? Who you're propositioning to fight at 47. Meanwhile, you got Devin Haney, the WBO champion of 147, who you have a direct shot at as the WBO champion at 140. You refuse to call him out? Child. The moves disgust me, brothers and sisters. They just disgust me. Yes, beautiful sis. 304 behavior. 1000%. The great Mike says, Keyshawn being quiet lets you know he was clout chasing after the fight. 1000%. 1000%. The King J. Bonnie is in the building. Salute to the King J. He says, Devin is the constant reminder of their limitations. Well said, King Bonnie. Well said. Oh my goodness. Salute to the richest one in the building. What's up, the richest? He said, talk that shit. Yes, King. I'm on the job. I'm on the job. All right. Yes, I see the good people concur with me. Who is this? Who is this? Queen Keisha? Hey, Queen Keish. Is this Queen Keish? Or is this another Keisha? Salute to the Queen Keish in the building. Hey, Sugar Free. Hey, sis. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I love to see my sisters coming up in the building. Let's see. Oh, Queen Keish. Yes, she says, Shakur never wanted that fight ever since he rejected those 3 offers. 1000%, sis. 1000%. 1000%, you guys. Okay, so I'm scrolling back down to see where I'm at. Hold on, let me see if I didn't anything. Yes, Daryl. Yes, Daryl. Motherfucking Eminem head top ass nigga. Get that motherfucker out of my face. I can't stand goddamn Conor Benn. One minute he got a straight perm. Next minute he got a half afro, half goddamn cornrows. Next thing you know, he got the motherfucking doobie wrap. Now he got some damn platinum blonde ass hair looking like goddamn Barbie, a goddamn Ken doll. Get his ass out of here, please. And I think somebody was calling him out recently too for trying to fight Shakur Stevenson. And they're like, who was it? Who was that? Josh Kelly, I want to say. Was it Josh Kelly who recently had the fight? He's like, yo, what you looking at Shakur for? I just became, you know what I'm saying? I just became champion over here. Why the fuck you looking at goddamn Shakur Stevenson? I want you. So we'll see what happens with that. But he was absolutely put on blast for trying to, look at a fight or entertain a fight, even for a moment, with Shakur Stevenson, right? That person called his ass out like, nigga, get over here and get this work. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, let me get into this other thing, beautiful people, because I thought this was definitely interesting and important to touch today. And that's the topic of the condescending response that Tyson Fury put out to Deontay Wilder. Okay. So if for those of you who don't know, Tyson Fury took to his social media, right, during the week of, just a couple of days ago, and gave a haphazard, condescending, pompous, alleged, prayer for Deontay Wilder. Oh, I'm going to send up a prayer for Deontay Wilder for his balance and his mental health. This is the posture that Tyson Fury has assumed, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, this is a response to Deontay Wilder, who recently made it a point, which you guys may be familiar with because I made a post about that, right? And I also did a short about that on the page as well. But of course, Deontay made it a point recently, to bring attention once again to the history of Tyson Fury's cheating in the sport, right? So Wilder, while of course he's in promotion for his upcoming fight with Derek Chisora, he reiterated within some interviews that he gave. One interview was extremely heated, and that's the one that I did a short about, where he went on the Talk Sports podcast, right? But Wilder essentially reiterated his claims against Fury, stating that Tyson had engaged, as we all know, in goddamn malpractice, right? And he not only reiterated that claim, but he said that he has proof that can back and substantiate those allegations, brothers and sisters. This is Deontay Wilder. Like I said, I did a short and I made the post about that. And I got a lot of engagement with that across social media. Not only did I write the post on YouTube, but I was also sharing it on Twitter, and that got a lot of circulation as well. Now, there are myriad sentiments going around that people seem to have about this. But the major theme that never ceases to astound me is how people of a particular sect, who oppose Wilder's claims, do so in a fashion that seems to only be concerned with him remaining silent. They prefer that Wilder remain silent. That's a lot of the disposition that I have been coming across, circling across social media from this particular group who hold that mindset. Why is the sect of the boxing community so fixated on this man's silence? If Fury did nothing wrong, brothers and sisters, what's the fixation with the silence if Fury has nothing to be worried about? Okay? If people hold that it's an impossibility that Fury could have cheated, absolutely impossible, right? Then wouldn't you think that they'd have the disposition similar to, let's say, go ahead, go drop the documentary. Go ahead, go drop the files, drop the tape, drop the beat on them. Wilder, go ahead and drop the beat, right? If there was nothing to worry about at all. I just had that question to ask. Also, the media wasted no time in jumping aboard the Wilder is a liar and a sore loser train. Wasted no time at all. Talk Sport host, whatever that motherfucking name is, okay, called him outright flaky and a sore loser. It just seems like you're just mad because you just couldn't whatever, right? That's what Wilder had to face in that particular interview that I had highlighted. And this is Mike Cappinger, I should say. Mike Cappinger, all right? This is what he said in response to Deontay Wilder's claims on Twitter. This is Mike Cappinger. He says, quote, Wilder really can't take anyone pressing him on this claim of cheating from Fury. Why? Because it's total nonsense. The Nevada Commission, arguably the best in the world, inspects all hand wraps, as Wilder did, as did on Wilder's team. He just can't accept that he was beaten up. Sad. End quote. Do you hear this? He just can't accept that he was beaten up, is what Mike Cappinger said. I have this question, good people. If the Nevada State Commission is quote unquote the best in the world, according to this fucking chump, Mike Cappinger, why was that goddamn glove flopping around like a bag in the wind, brothers and sisters? Why was the side of Wilder's head dented in that second fight? And why was he told by his own doctor that only an object could have caused that injury to happen on the side of his head? Moreover, brothers and sisters, I want to posit this question. How many times have we seen oversights made by these commissions, particularly the Nevada State Athletic Commission? How many faulty acts have been committed, let's say just in the last 20 years, right? Let's not act like there are, ways and measures. Let's not act like they are. All types of ways and measures that people have used and taken to cheat, brothers and sisters. Let's not act like this stuff does not happen and hasn't happened and doesn't have a track record of happening. Cappinger is a goddamn puppet, brothers and sisters, for the agenda that allows provisions for all sorts of corruption and underhanded activity in boxing on the part of those that call shots in boxing. It is what it is. And you'd be a fool to be in denial of that reality. Where do you think that the Miguel Cotto versus Margarito fight, where did you guys think that took place? Except in goddamn Las Vegas, Nevada. What are you talking about? They're the best in the world. Excuse me? Is that they're the best in the world? That's why they had an oversight on the Miguel versus Margarito fight? Where did Floyd's fight with Maidana, for example, take place? You guys remember when Floyd Mayweather caught that the padding had been removed from the glove and called for them to change out the gloves and all of that? Las fucking Vegas, Nevada, people. That's where that happened. Just some examples I wanted to throw out there. So, Cappinger and his cohorts, you know what I'm saying, are out here gaslighting the public by trying to imply that nothing gets by the, Nevada Commission. Oh, magically nothing gets by them. Oh, really? Absolute folly, absolute duplicitous behavior, and absolute nonsense, most of all. Subterfuge, good people. That's all that is. There are so many unanswered questions on the table regarding that particular fight, brothers and sisters, with Wilder and Fury, that second fight. Okay. And even definitely questionable activity that took place in the first fight. Right. And the media does not want these particular questions nor answers, citing public curiosity. They do not want these questions or their answers to incite the public. Wilder posited that he will be releasing a documentary that will highlight and expose these missing pieces. Right? That's what he is saying. I got a documentary coming out. I'm going to expose all of this. That's what Wilder is saying. This is one of the most controversial fights, and I want to say the last 50 years. The hailstorm that this caused. My thing is, where is the concern for truth in the general boxing community? Where's the concern for truth, brothers and sisters? Not the spectacle of the charade or the if I believe him or if I don't. Where's the concern for the truth of the matter? There is none. People are just content in pointing fingers, or I believe him or I don't. But where's the concern for the actuality of the matter? Whether Wilder is telling the truth or if Fury is being truthful in stating that he did no foul play, good people, where is the demand from the public to be given the truth once and for all? If somebody claims that they have it. The idea that folk are out here telling Wilder that he is lying is of no use. Oh, Wilder's lying. Oh, you just don't like to hold your L. Oh, you just a sore loser. You don't got no sportsmanship. You just unprofessional. Everything under the goddamn sun. That's neither here nor fucking there as far as relevance, or it serves no utilitarian purpose whatsoever. Notwithstanding whether one believes him or not, the truth should be demanded for the sake and for the safety and integrity of the sport. Facts or no, brothers and sisters. It makes no difference whether you believe this or that person. That's what the fucking proof is for. That's what the truth or the pursuit of truth is for. To find out once and for all and leave all, doubt to the wind. Now, regarding Fury and his statement, which I will divulge for you in just a moment. The mere idea that this man would get on his social media and just put on all types of airs, ladies and gentlemen. Did you guys see that clip of Tyson Fury? If you guys don't have Twitter, I posted it on my Twitter, or I'm sure it's probably on YouTube or something like that. But, just the bitches getting up there, just, putting on his Oscar-nominated performance of the year, brothers and sisters, Tyson Fury. Just pouting his little eyes and just Wilder, Wilder, something's wrong with him, y'all. This is the pompous posture that this man is, just condescendingly putting out there. Oscar-nominated performance of the year, sending all types of air hugs and prayers to Wilder for what he called his mental health issues. Seeing that, ladies and gentlemen, was as abhorrent as it gets. It was as abhorrent as it was laughable, honestly, right? This is what Tyson Fury said in that particular statement. This is an excerpt from it. Quote, I just sat here thinking about all the stuff that Deontay Wilder's been saying recently. And even me, I got sort of dragged into it, posting stuff, video of me knocking him out. I just deleted that off of my story because rather than retaliate and hate on somebody, this man really does have mental issues. It's evident to see. And rather than just go back and forth with him and yada, 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 and say he's deluded and all of that, I'm just going to pray for him. And I'm going to ask God to help him. He obviously needs help. And I'm not getting involved in pettiness. The fights were won fair and square, and that's it. And I'm going to ask the Father to bring him back into the light. End quote. Do y'all hear this nonsense? You hear this shit? I was just like absolutely dumbfounded, right? So what I wanted to know firstly is which one is it, Tyson Fury? Which one of these things is real? Is he suffering from mental health issues and a mental health crisis, as are insinuating and saying? Or is it pettiness? You said pettiness. Which one of these claims are real? They cannot be both and. Is it a mental health crisis that this man is exhibiting, or is he simply being petty? What does he mean? I'm not getting involved in pettiness. So that if he is having a mental crisis, is it petty for him to be exhibiting signs of mental illness? You cannot have both and. This is another level of double talking, brothers and sisters. When does somebody exhibiting a symptom of mental unfitness being petty? Pettiness this man is just, I was so disgusted, you guys. Absolutely revolted. Wouldn't you have to be conscious and conspiring and plotting to be petty? It's oxymoronic to insinuate that somebody has a mental illness, right? Mental imbalance going on. They are not fit emotionally. They are not in control of the symptoms that they are experiencing medically. But you want to call that pettiness on the other motherfucking hand? Which the fuck is it, Tyson? Mental illness, or is he being petty? That's the first thing that stood out to me, brothers and sisters. It sounds like Tyson Fury is doing a hell of a lot of double talking in that particular statement of his own. Moreover, where were Fury's prayers for Wilder when he removed the padding from his gloves in that second fight, brothers and sisters? The same padding removal that he practiced in sparring when he was sparring that brother Nicholas Asbury, who documented and showed footage of the removal of the padding from the gloves, the sparring gloves. Let's not act new, people. We all saw that footage of the brother Nicholas Asbury, right? Another thing that they tried to sweep under the rug and silence at that time. Not only did we see that, of course, we saw outrightly the actual glove in the actual fight. That shocked the world. But somehow went unpenalized. How could we forget that spectacle of that glove, brothers and sisters? Can anybody tell me, where was this concern from Tyson Fury? Where was the consideration for Wilder at that time? Where were these prayers from Tyson Fury being sent out with kisses and hugs, while the referee, for example, was extending the count for Fury after he was clearly knocked the fuck out and laid out flat on that canvas? Was he praying for Wilder then? When he was seeing the motherfucking Tweety birds fly around his head after being knocked out cold? Was he praying for Wilder when he was being cheated for by that referee? Did he have concern then at that moment? Or perhaps he was sending up a prayer for Wilder while he was denting that man's head so bad that his ears bled. Was he praying for Wilder then? Maybe he was praying for Wilder when he decided to lick the dripping blood that was trickling down Wilder's ear. Is that what he was praying for Wilder? Oh, no. Actually, I think he was maybe praying for Wilder when he was motioning as if he was fucking him. You guys remember that? In the ring? When he had Wilder facing him and he was motioning like he was fucking Wilder while Wilder stood there dazed and unaware of what was going on, absolutely incoherent? Is that where those fucking prayers were at that time? Is that where he was concerned about Wilder's mental health? Brothers and sisters, somebody let me know. Somebody let me know. The nature and tone of that post, good people, was at best insidious, at best. And it makes me all the more reviled by the memory of that particular time in boxing. And it definitely makes me more inclined towards seeing Wilder's case presented publicly, whatever details he may have or whatever. It definitely makes me alacritous in getting that information and being privy to that information. I think the boxing world has it all wrong, good people, in simply viewing this type of situation as some, tit for tat, inconsequential banter from a man who is, I don't know, too imbecilic to accept a loss or something like that. This is so much deeper than that, good people. And Wilder has every right to press and to bring public attention to this issue. This was his life that was on the line. His life that was tampered with. Not only the glove, ladies and gentlemen, was tampered with, somebody's life was. All of a sudden, people want to forget when it comes to Deontay Wilder, an elite black man of the sport. All of a sudden, people want to forget and get very selective about the level of precarity that a fighter faces when it comes to this ring. When it comes to particular people, all of a sudden, the level of precarity in boxing goes out the window. Oh, it's just a sport. You're a sore loser. Nigga, I could have died in that ring. What the hell? Now people want to up and bypass that lives are at stake in that ring. Even without the controversy of a fucking faulty ass glove or PEDs or wrapped wrong hands or et cetera, et cetera. Lives are already in the balance as it is. We should be demanding a clean sport as boxing fans, whether you are simply a fan or whether you are whoever, whatever stature you hold in this boxing game, media or otherwise. The cleanliness of the sport is of paramount importance. Demanding a clean sport through and through is absolutely imperative. We should be doing that and absolutely shunning those who exhibit even a semblance of foul play or malpractice in any way. In any way. There's got to be some serious punitive action and ramifications for these people. For these cowards, I should say, who even think for a moment to participate or partake in any disgusting behavior, counterfeit behavior. But let Wilder go ahead and go prove his case. Because it's one thing for, Tyson Fury to sit in and deny everything and sitting pretty on his high horse, unscathed, unquestioned. And it's another thing for him to be proven counterfeit. If there was foul play involved, I hope Wilder exposes the hell out of that shit in whatever he has coming up. I wish he would have done it already. But I definitely stand in solidarity with that, because if for a moment this is the truth that he is saying, that he can substantiate all of his claims, then it absolutely should be publicized. And Tyson Fury should be made an example of. This type of stuff, it's just inexcusable and intolerable on every level to me. And the way that Deontay Wilder was handled over the past week by these particular platforms and these media personalities was abhorrent on every level. Every level. They just excused all journalistic integrity whatsoever and decided to castigate and lambaste him to the fullest extent. As if they have proof of their own and footage and receipts and compiled evidence of their own to prove Tyson's case. And they do not. That's their assumption. Nobody knows. But if Wilder has some claims that he can substantiate, we should be asking for that to be presented and brought to the table. We should be inquiring into that. What do you guys think about that when you saw that? Nasty work. You know, it kind of got into he's just lying type of thing, or I don't like Wilder, so I'm just going to say this, or he's complaining. Shut up and hold your L mentality. Just like I said in my post, where I likened it to what was happening and taking place as far as the discourse when it came to Devin Haney when he was cheated by the drug cheat Ryan Garcia. Same disposition. Well, he just don't want to take his loss. That's why he's suing, because, he's soft. Everything under the sun to dissuade from the fact that this man was cheated, even though we had outright proof, because Ryan had fucking popped dirty for his PED test. Didn't matter. Proof was in the pudding, and people were still in denial. So that I'm wondering now, having said that, if Deontay Wilder does have some substantial evidence to prove what he is saying, if people will even, us conscious folk will, we will take that and say, wow, look at this, right? But there is still a large extent and a large degree of the boxing world who will be in denial, because they were absolutely in denial, and are still, a lot of them to this day, that Ryan Garcia fucking popped dirty and that he was fucking counterfeit in his practices, in his character, and his sportsmanship as a whole. Crazy work, you guys. Yes, twin. So these guys are just going to ignore the floppy gloves. When does boxing gloves flop like that? Yeah. He's an absolute clown, great Mike. Exactly, Uncommon. The commission has never caught anyone cheating unless boxers have been caught. Countless boxers have been caught. However, so the commissions are not trustworthy. Exactly. It's the teams who usually go in there. Like Mayweather, he had to go. The commission, where was the commission in the Maidana fight, looking at those gloves to see that padding had been, subpar or non-existent in those gloves? If Mayweather didn't do it, was the commission going to do it? No. Absolutely not. Same thing with the dude. I don't know if you guys remember that old fight with Billy Collins, that white dude. I forget the guy he was fighting, right? Way back in the day. And the man had done all types of sick shit with those gloves, beat that man senseless. That man looked like a corpse when he got through with that fight, right? Did the commission catch that? Hell no. It was the father of the training team of Billy Collins who caught the foul play happening with the gloves of the other team that beat that man senseless like that. There was no commission. Just like there wasn't any with Maidana and Floyd, just like there wasn't with goddamn Margarito and Cotto. And just like there wasn't with Wilder and goddamn Fury, that allowed that fucking floppy ass looking bag of a goddamn garbage bag to even get in the ring with Wilder. Diabolical work. Yes, King Corbin. Disgusting. Couldn't have said it better, King Stephen. 1000%. Crazy work. Tell him again, King Judah. Okay? In that order. In that order, King. The fuck? Absolutely disgusting work, you guys. Disgusting. Yes, King Stephen, I'm definitely awaiting to see that. I don't know, when this thing is going to be dropped. I don't know when the King Wilder intends to drop that, but, should he do that, I'll definitely be in full support of seeing it, right? And reading whatever documents, if it's a document, if it's a film, whatever means of proof and of evidence and of clarification, to these claims to provide some insight and some, hardcore evidence to back those claims, I'm definitely in support of. And I think any boxing enthusiast should be in support of that. Foul play and wrong play is not to be tolerated in any sense of the word. I don't give a fuck if you like a fighter or not. I don't care if you want to support a fighter's, boxing, fight or not, or if you, want to wave a pom pom or not. It does not matter. These men's lives are at stake. It's not about cheerleading. These men's lives are at stake above all at the end of the day. We got to respect these men's lives. That's not something to be played with or disrespected. These people forget. They think that these people are cartoon characters or something, like some goddamn X-Men or fucking Batman out here. These are men looking to achieve some type of legacy for themselves. Some legacy for their families. This is not easy stuff. You don't play boxing. People love to say that, but they don't want to actualize the depth of that statement. Absolutely unacceptable. I don't condone foul play on any level or to any degree. I don't care who is the fighter of discussion or of note or, being highlighted. Boxing is boxing. And a clean sport is what every warrior deserves. Every warrior. We got people out here who have passed away in the ring with no foul play involved. Why would we do these men a disservice by adding on more and more precarity to their plate? Intolerable, brothers and sisters. Yes, great Mike. He says, people are just so ignorant. They couldn't see them floppy gloves. They still say Ryan KO Devin. Get these dummies out of boxing. Absolutely correct, King Mike. Zip them the fuck up and get them out of boxing. Absolutely abhorrent behavior and disgusting logic that these people assume. Yes, twin. Boxing is violent enough as it is. Cheating is just diabolical. 1000%. I think I received some super chats. I wanted to check in with the good people who supported. We have somebody named Dan the Eighth. He says, Key and Core both beat Devin Queen. Oh, is that what you think? I'd love to see it. Go ahead and go tell them that. Maybe they'll grow some fucking balls to actually make that happen and materialize that. But I feel you ain't no beef here. Believe what you want. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see if it's possible or if it isn't possible, right? The opinion does not move me. The actualization does. So hopefully these dudes, are on that type of time to get that fight solidified. It'll be wonderful to see if they can both be made this year. Who knows, right? But we already know that Devin is with it. That's why he's calling for their heads on a plate. So as soon as you find where they're hiding at, either under their beds or in somebody's goddamn closet, right? Maybe we can make these fights happen. We got some love in the building from my twin. Thank you so much for supporting and, of course, joining. I love the King, Dower Anderson, with the wonderful energy that he shows, each and every time. I appreciate you so much, King. He says, just leaving some color in the chat. Definitely a hard-hitting cook this Sunday. Salute to the twin. Thank you so much, twin. I always support your energy in the building. Always support your words of encouragement, King. And definitely the same goes to all the brothers and sisters in the building. The King Stephen X, the King J Vonnie, my beautiful Mama Love Tequila, my beautiful sis Cami Cam, Tay Tay, the Queen Bella, the King Judah, the King Corbin, the great Mike, all the regulars, the King Uncommon. I definitely appreciate and salute each and every one of you. Definitely. Thank you so much for joining. I truly mean that, for some wonderful boxing talk. Thank you for joining me. And I think I will end it there on that note, good people. And I will see y'all on the next one. I'm definitely wishing you a wonderful, prosperous week ahead. May you guys be blessed. Definitely hit the like button on your way out. Don't be reticent about sharing the content if you enjoyed today's discussion. And I will catch y'all on the next one, good people. Until next time, infinite peace and infinite blessings to the good family.